It's Monday, November 9th, and this is your coffee break on the HAN Network. I'm Kate Czaplinski, back in our Shelton studio today and bringing you the latest news. We'll also be joined by Rob Adams with sports and weather. Donald Dang will give us a look back on this day in history. But first, on to today's news. The state medical examiner has declared that Jeffrey and Jeanette Navin's deaths have been ruled homicides and that they succumbed to gunshot wounds. Jeanette Navin's fatal wounds were to her torso and her extremities, according to state medical examiner James Gill. He said that according to the Hartford Courant. Her husband died of a gunshot wound to the trunk area, Gill said. The remains of the couple, who have been missing since August 7th, were found recently under leaves outside a vacant home at 89 Norfield Road in Weston. The break in the case came on Thursday, October 29th, when Thomas Kerrigan of Westport decided to do some yard work at an abandoned house he owned at 89 Norfield Road. Around 3 in the afternoon, Kerrigan called the Weston Police Department and reported that he might have found human remains on his property while he was doing that yard work. After an initial investigation of the property, Weston police called in the state police, suspecting the remains might be those of Jeffrey and Jeanette Navin. That night, law enforcement officials closed Norfield Road and conducted an extensive search of the property. The next day, state police announced that the Office of the Chief Medical Examiner had confirmed the remains found at 89 Norfield Road were those of 2 human individuals, and that night they later identified them as the missing couple. Next of kin from out of state who were notified about the couple's identification were devastated and deeply saddened to learn of their fate. But it does bring them some closure, they said, knowing what happened to Jeffrey and Jeanette Navin. Their son, 27-year-old Kyle Navin, has been charged with their murders, and his girlfriend, 31-year-old Jennifer Valiente, has been charged with conspiracy to commit murder. Navin is being held on a $2.5 million bond. His girlfriend's bond is set at $2 million. Well, the Trumbull Police Department is investigating a number of daytime burglaries that have been reported over the last month in Trumbull Center and Nichols area of town. According to a press release, the burglaries occur when no one is home at the residences, and in most cases, the home was secure and entry into the home was forced. According to police, the majority of items that have been taken include electronics and jewelry. Police are recommending residents lock their homes and secure items of value such as jewelry. Sergeant Kenneth Jones also said that homeowners should be vigilant in regards to their surroundings. He said someone or something looks out of place at or near your home or place of business, please contact the Trumbull Police. The Detective Bureau continues to work on a number of leads on the burglaries. If residents have any information on any of the burglaries, they can please contact the Trumbull Police Department at 203-261-3665. Well, last night, the Bridgeport Fire Department put out a fire that broke out at a condominium complex, displacing several residents. Around 7:30 last night, a call was received by the Bridgeport Fire Department regarding 2 condos that caught fire near the corner of Allenson Road and Connecticut Avenue. Upon arrival, firefighters successfully evacuated everyone from the residences and worked to get the fire under control. Firefighters reported that the blaze was under control by about 8:50 and that 4 adults and 3 children were displaced because of the fire. Nobody has been reported injured. The cause of the fire is unknown but being investigated now. The fire marshal, utility company, and gas company were contacted, and Red Cross was on the scene to assist with finding shelter for the 4 adults and 3 children. If anyone has any information regarding the fire, you can contact the Bridgeport Fire Department at 203-357-2042. Well, a 23-year-old Stratford man faces federal charges for trafficking in narcotics and illegally possessing firearms. Mark Lee James, also known as Rich, was arrested by federal authorities October 5th, according to a press release from Deirdre M. Daly, the United States Attorney for the District of Connecticut. Authorities allege that in July and August, Fairfield police, working with the Drug Enforcement Administration's Bridgeport High-Intensity Drug Trafficking Area Task Force, made 4 controlled purchases of a total of about 58 grams of methamphetamine from Lee James. In August and September, Fairfield Police and the DEA task force made 2 additional purchases of a total of about 187 grams of methamphetamine from Lee James. Lee James was arrested on federal criminal complaint on August 5th. At the time of his arrest, he was carrying a backpack that contained about 7.5 grams of heroin. A subsequent search of his vehicle revealed a second backpack containing about 120 grams of meth, a loaded .380 semi-automatic handgun, and a loaded .44 Magnum revolver, according to the U.S. Attorney's Office. On October 14th, a federal grand jury in Bridgeport returned a 9-count indictment charging Lee James with 2 counts of possession with intent to distribute and distribution of 50 grams or more of methamphetamine. These charges carry a minimum sentence of imprisonment of 10 years and a maximum term of imprisonment of life. The indictment also charges Lee James with 4 counts of possession with intent to distribute and distribution of methamphetamine. If convicted on the firearm offense, Lee James faces a mandatory consecutive term of 5 years in prison. Well, in other Trumbull news, a week after reviving a 24-year-old man who was suffering from a heroin overdose on Pemberton Drive, Trumbull police and EMS rescued a 27-year-old man who was found unconscious in his home on Madison Avenue on Monday, November 9th. According to a press release, the victim was found unresponsive with evidence of a recent heroin use scattered around the room. First responders administered Narcan, an opiate antagonist that temporarily reverses the depression of the respiratory system and allows the person to breathe more effectively. Police said he was transported to St. Vincent's Hospital by Trumbull EMS. This victim was the 5th heroin user that Trumbull police have had to revive with Narcan since July. There have been 3 overdose victims in Trumbull since October 18th. All 3 incidents involved Trumbull residents overdosing in their homes. Going to throw it over to Rob Adams now for the latest on today's weather. Rob?
Kate, good morning. Welcome back to Shelton, one and all. Haven't been here in a while. We've got a sunny day, a high near 58 with a southwest wind from 3 to 7 miles per hour. Tonight, increasing clouds with a low around 42. Pretty chilly last night, in fact. Rain for Tuesday and a high near 58 with a northeast wind from 5 to 13, and that chance of precipitation is 80%. Rain likely Tuesday night, mainly before midnight. Cloudy, low 47 with a north wind 8 to 11. And we'll get some rain. It'll be about 1/4 and 1/2 inch possible tomorrow night. Slight chance of rain before noon on Wednesday, which happens to be Veterans Day, by the way. Take time to remember and thank all the vets. Mostly cloudy with a high near 56 and a north wind 6 to 9. For Wednesday night, mostly cloudy, low 44. Thursday, showers likely after 9 in the morning. Cloudy, a high near 57. Chance of showers before midnight Thursday night, low 44, sunny and 58 for Friday as we go to Darien on Saturday, mostly sunny, a high near 52. We have 51 in Ridgefield, 53 in the aforementioned Darien, Connecticut, and right here in Shelton, 54 degrees, Kate.
All right, thanks so much, Rob. Well, we're going to take a quick break, come back with Donald Ang's Look Back on This Day in History. Rob will have the latest on high school sports, and we have a lot more news coming up on your coffee break after this.
When you experience a sports injury, you want to get better and fast. Coastal Ortho Express gives you direct access to orthopedic care quickly. Their physicians are fellowship trained in sports medicine at world-class universities and are also team doctors for area football teams. For specialized personal care of sports injuries, go to Coastal Ortho Express. Open Monday through Saturday in the iPark building, 761 Main Avenue in Norwalk, or coastalorthoexpress.com. Coastal Orthopedics, keeping you on the move.
Darien Sport Shop is a unique store because it's a family store. A busy mom can come in with kids in tow and find everything she needs for them, and even find a dress for herself for Saturday night. And if she's in a rush, she can simply go home and order it from us that night. We'll deliver it the next day. The Darien Sport Shop. We're pretty on the outside and amazing on the inside. Conveniently located with free and easy parking at 1127 Post Road, Darien, Connecticut. Or shop us online at dariensport.com.
Football University, the nation's leading football training experience, is now accepting applications for its 2015 camps. Our elite faculty of NFL coaches and top professionals teach position-specific on the field and in the classroom to improve your football IQ and help you reach your full potential as a player. Apply today at footballuniversity.org. Football University, where technique plus talent beats talent alone.
The fall bite is heating up. Albies, bonita, blackfish, alligator blues, and stripers are following the large schools of bait in the Long Island Sound. This is the time to visit the New England coast, and the Dock Shop can get you outfitted with the latest fishing gear, jackets, hats, gloves, and fleece. Boater, beach bum, fishermen simply love the New England coast. This is a unique place to shop. The Dock Shop, now in 2 locations, 51 Tokenique Road, Darien, 609 Riverside Avenue, Westport, or on the web, dockshop.com.
You are watching the HAN Network, and you're not alone. 102,000 viewers have enjoyed the HAN Network in just the last 6 weeks. Advertise on the network that reaches Fairfield County, Connecticut's most engaged audience. Contact Jessica Murrin, Advertising Director, at 203-273-7312 or email jessica@han.network.
And we're back on this Monday edition of your Coffee Break on the HAN Network. I'm Kate Czaplinski. Time to throw it over to Donald Ang for a look back on this day in history. Don?
Well, thanks, Kate. It was a long-awaited national reunion. But first we go to 1620. The Mayflower Pilgrims first sight land off the coast of Cape Cod, Massachusetts, or what would become Cape Cod, Massachusetts, the first time they had seen land since September 6th. To 1780 we go, American Revolutionary War, the Battle of Fish Dam Ford. You've probably never heard of it, but a force of about 250 British and Loyalist troops fail in a surprise attack against the South Carolina militia under Brigadier General Thomas Sumter. Sumter actually fled the battle early in the fight, but the good folks of South Carolina were so proud of him that in 1829 they named a fort under construction that would defend Charleston Harbor after him. Interesting confluence of history and sport when South Carolina bombarded Fort Sumter in 1861, the honor of firing the first shot in defense of the fort, and by extension, the first shots in defense of the Union, fell to a little-known captain named Abner Doubleday. To 1906, Theodore Roosevelt, the first sitting president of the United States to make an official trip outside the country. He did so to inspect progress on the Panama Canal. And finally, in 1989, a hated symbol of division ended.
What they wanted. This is the middle of the checkpoint. The police are making no attempt to stop people. The gates have been thrown open and thousands of people are pouring over to take a look at a West. In some cases, their first look, and the elation is enormous. But these were not people abandoning their country. Most were simply heading for the night out of their lives. They discovered what was happening by watching West German television, and they'd come running, as they were, to join the party. Some were taking the opportunity to leave for good, with baggage and families, still unconvinced even by this dramatic gesture that real change is happening in East Germany. But they were the exceptions.
That is November 9th, 1989, communist-controlled East Germany opens the checkpoints along the Berlin Wall, allowing citizens to travel to West Germany for the first time in 3 decades. This key event led to the eventual reunification of Germany and the fall of communism in Eastern Europe, including in Russia. And of course, a few weeks later, the Hof made it official. That's your look back in history, and I am Donald Ng.
All right, thanks so much, Don. Well, before we throw it to Rob Adams for high school sports, getting back to a little news today, state police detectives are investigating a suspicious death in Beacon Falls, according to a prepared statement that they issued on this past Saturday. While calling the death suspicious, police said the investigation hasn't turned up any evidence of criminal activity and that there's no danger to the public. According to the Valley Indy, police were sent to 317 Burton Road in Beacon Falls Friday around 4:30 in the afternoon for a drowning. 47-year-old John Katzner of that address was found in a brook on the property, according to state police. Troopers tried to revive Katzner and EMS personnel were called to the scene. He was pronounced dead by the EMS crew. Well, time to switch gears and throw it back over to Rob Adams, who has the latest on high school sports. Rob?
Thank you, Ms. Czaplinski. Tear down this wall as we get started with your Monday sports. By the way, Abner Doubleday had virtually nothing to do with baseball and the founding of it. That is also a farce that we've discussed on Nutmeg Sports. Anyway, we dive into it. New Canaan over Trumbull 69-26. No, they are not still playing at Dunning Field. It only felt like it, a game that lasted nearly 3 hours. Michael Collins, 9 touchdown passes. That ties the state record. He did indeed try try to go for number 10 in the fourth quarter, tried 2 long passes, didn't work. We will talk much more about this on Nutmeg Sports because, of course, there are cries of running up the score and it's high school sports and blah, blah, blah. We will get to it at 2 o'clock today. From volleyball, if you missed it, well, you missed a lot of fun because we had a great time broadcasting volleyball here on the HAN network. And our first go-around, well, we hope they're always as good as this. Fairfield Ludlow wins the championship over Darien, 3-1, scores of 27-25, 21-25 in favor of Darien, then 25-19 and 25-20. Alice Nelson was the most valuable player. 25 digs, 2 aces, 10 service points. Kylie McCaffrey had 17 kills, 15 digs, 9 service points. Abby Constantino, 13 kills, 4 blocks, 13 service points. Darien had some highlights as well. Catherine Crosby with 15 kills. Callie Fay had 37 assists. And Samantha Huff was a machine, 19 kills and 2 blocks. But the bigger fact in all of this, Darien has never lost a finals appearance. They were 20-0. They had won 21 previous championships, with one of them being a split. They never played it thanks to Superstorm Sandy, and they shared it with, of all teams, Fairfield Ludlow. Ludlow now a champion today, and congratulations to them. Neglected to give you the rest of the football scoreboard. Let's dive back into the football scores from Friday. We begin with Fairfield Ludlow coming back to beat Bridgeport Central 21-20. Great win for the Falcons. They had to do it and come up with a 2-point conversion to get that win. Greenwich over Norwalk 33-28. It was Danbury over McMahon, so Danbury's got their first win of the year, 33-27. Trinity Catholic shuts out Stanford 36-0. From the SEC, Brantford a winner, as well as Fairfield Prep, Sheehan, Hillhouse, Notre Dame of West Haven, North Haven, Shelton over Daniel Hand 17-13, West Haven and Xavier all with wins. Bunnell, Newtown, New Fairfield, Weston, Barlow, and Brookfield the winners in the SWC. We move to Saturday now, and the winners there, Ridgefield over West Hill 45-7. Darien had a 49-0 halftime lead. They beat Fairfield Ward 56-19. Staples in the game of the day beat St. Joseph 28-20. And again, we'll have much more on this on Nutmeg Sports later on today. From the schedule, well, plenty of stuff going on. Let's see what we've got there. From Class LL Girls Soccer in the first round. Just the FCAC for now. We'll give you more on Nutmeg. Ward and Ridgefield both have first-round byes. An all-FCAC matchup is Staples and Darien. That's at 2. Cheshire takes on number 8, Greenwich. Number 23, New Canaan, is at Amity. Ludlow, home for number 22, E.O. Smith. West Hill is at Wilton in an 18-15 matchup at 4 o'clock, and Trumbull is at Hall. That's at 4. From Class L, St. Joe's has a first-round bye, so they get that off. Class LL volleyball, again, these are games that are taking place today. Darien, McMahon, and McMahon both with first-round byes. You've got Hall at Ludlow. That's a 24-9 matchup. Staples is at Shelton. Trumbull home for Newtown. Stanford at Ward. And Bristol Central is at Greenwich. Again, lots to talk about on Nutmeg Sports. Donald Eng and I will have it for you at 2 o'clock later today. Congratulations to not only Fairfield Ludlow with their big win, but all the champions from last week. What a blast we had covering all those games. Ludlow with another championship last week in soccer. You had Ridgefield winning in girls soccer. You had Darien winning in field hockey. So it was a busy week for all of us, and very good to be back here in the studio with sports. I'm Rob Adams. We'll shoot it back over to Kate.
Thanks, Rob. It is good to be back. That volleyball game kept us all on the edge of our seats, though. So
that was pretty wild.
That was a wild one, yeah. It was great. But it's nice to be back and bringing back some more news today. The SPCA of Connecticut, which is based in Monroe, has filed a lawsuit against several animal control officers in the area. The lawsuit alleges that the officers, as well as a few area kennels and a municipality, breached their duty while housing dogs that were seized in a 2012 raid in Bethlehem, Connecticut. In November 2012, Judy Umstead, who's Bethlehem's animal control officer and an employee of Hemlock Kennels in Litchfield, applied for a search and seizure warrant for the SPCA to the shelter in Bethlehem. She sought permission to seize the 65 dogs who were in the shelter in order to evaluate and test them for dehydration, emaciation, physical condition, wound injuries, disease, and illness. That, according to a lawsuit filed in Bridgeport Superior Court. On November 8, 2012, in her capacity as animal control officer, Umstead seized the dogs, accompanied by state police, Kelly Fitch, who's the animal control officer in Easton, Owen Little, the animal control officer in East Haven, Rachel Silvera, who is the animal control officer in Stratford, and Dr. Brad Davis, a veterinarian and State Department of Agriculture officers. Umstead took possession of the animals and was therefore responsible for their care, according to the lawsuit. However, at the time of seizure, 2 dogs required medical treatment, including Angel, who was suffering from arthritis, and Jack, who had diabetes. The animals were taken to Dr. Davis's office, where the SPCA claims no medical examination nor emergency care was performed and their conditions were left unchecked. There's much more on that lawsuit and the allegations made in it posted at eastoncourier.com. Well, in some happier animal news, a 6-foot emu on the lam for almost a week after escaping his Woodbridge farm was recovered Sunday and is safe and sound. That, according to Hearst, Connecticut media. Stella, who was named before his owner realized his correct gender, was found by Seymour and state police. After some tricky negotiations, he was wrangled back into the custody of the owner, Woozy Wickfors, and the Walking Wood farm. A second escaped emu recovered on Saturday did not make it and died of an apparent heart attack after being returned to the farm, according to Wickfors. Stella was found playing in traffic Sunday on Route 8 in Seymour. The state police were able to convince the emu to get on their side of the road, and after a while they were able to wrangle him. Seymour police helped corral the bird and announced its return Sunday through a tweet. According to the owner, the emu escaped Tuesday night after a potbelly pig opened the stall door where they live. According to the owner, "I have one potbelly pig that cuddles with all the animals, and he opened the stall door with the emus. The pig goes where it wants to go," Wickfors said. Wickfors was able to get 2 130-pound emus back in the stall, but the 2 others fled the farm, which also houses llamas, alpacas, quails, and other animals. Wickfors got her first emu, the national bird of Australia, a number of years ago as a birthday present. She now has 11 of them and sells their eggs. Well, in other news, Connecticut Congressman Jim Himes spent half the day in New Canaan on Friday. He first dropped in on the Advertiser's weekly coffee event at the Historical Society, answering questions on a variety of issues before heading to Grace Farms to take part in a seminar on eradicating child exploitation. Himes was asked a number of questions by residents, including about shortening the commute time to New York City, ISIS, healthcare, and much more. He was also asked about the potential GE relocation, to which he responded that he has a good relationship with senior executives at GE. He said they have a lot of things they are considering, and it's becoming a very different company, now more about software development. But you can read the answer to all of the questions asked to Congressman Himes at ncadvertiser.com. Well, in some interesting Connecticut election news, following a recount, officials in Clinton have determined the outcome of the coastal Connecticut town's first selectman vote by the slimmest of possible margins. The New Haven Register reported that Republican Bruce Farmer defeated incumbent Democrat William Fritz Jr. for the top selectman seat by a single vote. Fritz had served as Clinton's first selectman for the past 10 years. Officials said the final tally was 1,634 votes for Farmer and 1,633 votes for Fritz. The initial November 3rd recount had both candidates tied. Although the losing candidate still earns a seat on the selectman board, Fritz said it would be difficult for him to serve after having the top position for so many years. Well, Rob, if that's not a good lesson that your vote counts, I'm not sure what is.
Yeah, I would say.
But we're going to throw it back to Rob now for the latest on today's weather. Rob?
All right, thanks, Kate. Sunny day, really nice outside. Cooler, much more seasonal. High near 58. Tonight, low 42 with clouds coming in. Rain for your Tuesday, a high 58. Chance of precipitation, 80%. The wind will top out from the northeast around 13 miles per hour. Rain likely Tuesday night, all of it before midnight. Cloudy, low 47 with a north wind from 8 to 11. And maybe a quarter to a half 1/2-inch rain possible. Veterans Day on Wednesday, slight chance of rain before noon, mostly cloudy, high near 56, north wind 6 to 9. To Wednesday night, mostly cloudy, 44. Showers for Thursday after 9 a.m., cloudy and 57 otherwise, with a 70% chance of rain. That continues into Thursday night. The chance of precipitation dips to 30%, low 44. Sunny for Friday, high 58. To Saturday, mostly sunny, 52. We'll be at Darien for the big showdown between Darien and Staples in football, as we're back to just football for a little while. Looking around, Ridgefield up to 52, Darien is 54, and Shelton has 55 degrees.
Thanks, Rob. All right, going to take a quick break. Come back with a lot more news on your coffee break after this. In Pound Ridge since 1993, the Wine Connection is one of America's best wine shops. Visit our beautiful store for the greatest in wine and knowledgeable service. With wonderful values from around the world to collectibles for your cellar, we are your one-stop source. Visit our online shop at wineconn.com and make sure to sign up for email updates. With great offers, new arrivals, and special events, don't miss all the action at the Wine Connection, including tastings every weekend. The Wine Connection, located at 32 Westchester Avenue, Pound Ridge, New York.
It's time to come back to hometown banking, where people are taken into account, not just balances. Where community comes first. A place where there's more than one kind of interest. Where automation will never replace consideration. Where they not only know your name, they know your dog's name too. It's time to expect more. It's time to bank well. Bank smart. Bank local. Bank well.
Back to school means back to busy, and Stewart's Market can save you precious time by stocking all of your favorite essentials under one roof. For a healthy start to school, we have all the ingredients. Walter Stewart's, your family-owned fresh local market, 229 Elm Street and at stewartsmarket.com.
Tired of all the bull? Relax and enjoy the experience of buying a car at Pamby Chrysler Jeep Dodge and Ram. No bull allowed.
Healthy, confident smiles begin at Stratford Orthodontics. Conveniently located on Main Street, we are Stratford's hometown orthodontist. We offer the latest in orthodontic technology, including Damon braces and Invisalign. We always accept new patients. Call today to schedule a complimentary consultation. 203-375-8332. Stratford Orthodontics, 2499 Main Street, Stratford. 203-375-8332. And online at stratfordsmile.com.
And we're back on this Monday edition of your Coffee Break on the HAN Network. I'm Kate Czaplinski, recapping some of our top stories today. The state medical examiner has declared that Jeffrey and Jeanette Navin's deaths have been ruled homicides and that they succumbed to gunshot wounds. Jeanette Navin's fatal wounds were to her torso and her extremities, according to state medical examiner James Gill. Her husband died of gunshot wounds to the trunk area, according to the medical examiner. The remains of the couple who have been missing since August 7th were found recently under the leaves outside a vacant home at 89 Norfield Road in Weston. The break in the case came on Thursday, October 29th, as we've previously reported, when Thomas Kerrigan of Westport decided to do some yard work at the abandoned house he owned there. Around 3 in the afternoon, Kerrigan called the Weston Police Department and reported that he might have found human remains on the property. After an initial investigation, Weston police called in the state police, suspecting the remains might be those of Jeffrey and Jeanette Navin. The next day, the remains were identified as those of Jeffrey and Jeanette. Next of kin from out of state who were notified about the couple's identification were devastated and deeply saddened to learn of their fate. But it does bring them some closure, they said, knowing what happened to Jeffrey and Jeanette. Their son, 27-year-old Kyle Navin, has been charged with their murders, and his girlfriend, 31-year-old Jennifer Valiente, has been charged with conspiracy to commit murder. Navin is being held on a $2.5 million bond, and his girlfriend is being held on a $2 million bond. Well, the Trumbull Police Department is investigating a number of daytime burglaries that have been reported over the last month in the Trumbull Center and Nichols area of town. According to a press release, the burglaries occur when no one is home at the residences, and in most cases, the homes were secure and entry was forced. The majority of items that have been taken include electronics and jewelry. Police are recommending that residents keep their homes locked and secure. They also ask homeowners to be vigilant. If they see something or someone that looks out of place, to please contact the Trumbull Police Department. If residents have any information regarding any of the recent burglaries, they can call Trumbull Police at 203-261-3665. And last night, the Bridgeport Fire Department put out a fire that broke out at a condo complex that displaced several residents. Around 7:30 last night, a call was received by the Bridgeport Fire Department regarding 2 condos that caught fire near the corner of Allenson Road and Connecticut Avenue. Upon arrival, firefighters successfully evacuated everyone from the residences and worked to get the fire under control. Firefighters report that the fire was under control by about 8:50 and that 4 adults and 3 children were displaced. Red Cross was on the scene helping those who were displaced by the fire, and it is currently being investigated by the fire marshal's office. But that's going to do it for this Monday edition of your Coffee Break. We're going to wrap things up here. Of course, Rob Adams will bring you Nutmeg Sports at 2, and I'll be back tomorrow at 11 with your latest news. Have a great day, everyone.